Alright everybody, how's it going? Mark here, my wee thoughts. Let me just sort this thing here and make sure we're straight. I think we're good. Right, so I've been away for a couple of days. It's been 4th of July here in the States. So that's obviously a busy, exciting, celebratory summertime thing that we've been doing with family and that. And I actually have some family here from Scotland at the minute that are visiting, so it's been festive. But a lot to talk about. I will make a video on Thilo Asgard. I've been, when the rumours kicked off about him signing for Luton last week there, and I never, you know me, I never really get into the rumours because you never really know what's going to happen with those rumours and if they're going to pan out. But I did take a wee bit of time and studied him a wee bit, looked into him, watched a lot of tape, a lot of video on him. So we'll talk about that. But first, the game of the day against Club Brugge. It's a friendly, very early in the pre-season friendly, so we obviously know what to expect there. And right away, you see it's a split squad that's been sort of selected as the starting 11. And you've got, what I liked was, it was a split squad with a mix of sort of first team players, squad type players, but also youth players, young players. And that was exciting for me to see. I was really interested in this match. I think I mentioned it on a couple of videos for last week. I was really interested just to see what Russell Martin, how he would play it, how he would set everything up, how the team would respond, that sort of stuff. Now, what do we know before the match kicked off? We know that they boys have been getting run into the ground. We're hearing a lot for the training ground that's very high tempo, very intense, that the guys are just absolutely exhausted and really sort of getting their you know what punched in a wee bit on these training sessions. So good to see as well. Obviously, there's a bit of a high tempo defensive scheme that Martin likes to play, so it makes sense that during the pre-season, just to get everybody adjusted to the tactics and to what's coming in the season, that we see a wee bit of a more intense, more sort of dynamic conditioning program. So we know that. So we know they're going to be tired coming in. Obviously, with the lineup, Max Aarons was in there, which was interesting to watch. We got to see a lot of Fernandez, who looks to be solid, proper. Again, might be on his way out. We know there's going to be some more incomings and outgoings. But I thought the lineup was fine for the first pre-season game. Obviously, it's still getting the fitness up and all that sort of stuff. We've got players that are dealing with certain things right now. Dessers, it's obviously been revealed that he's got a wee bit of an ankle issue, so that's why we've not seen much of him in training. And I mean, he was at Ibrox today. I saw pictures and video of him signing stuff for kids and all of that. And it seems like he's going to be part of the team with that deal falling through. But early on, we see 2 quick goals for Club Brugge. The second goal was just an absolute cracker. I mean, you could have had 6 people in the back of that net and nobody stopping that. For Hayes, and Hayes ended up getting injured and had to come off. But the first one as well, Kelly sort of kicks it right back in front of him. You think he maybe could do a wee bit better there. Who cares? It's a pre-season game. I'm not too worried. Rangers sort of, there was no, by the end of that first half, there was no cohesion among the team. There was the press and the energy in the press when they attempted to press. It was very delayed, very sort of lackluster, very slow to get into that press. There was no fluidity at all in the defensive rotations or anything like that. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's just a function of the lads being tired, or if it's, hey, they're still learning tactics. They're still learning this defensive scheme. But that was noticeable. And obviously that has to be fixed. And I think it will be fixed, right? A lot of uneven passing. The passing was all over the place. And just no very aggressive. Very lackluster. And I mean, there were boos. I listened to sort of some post-game type stuff on another page, and the guys there were talking. You know, there were loud boos. There was about 30,000 people at Ibrox, something like that, close to 30,000 people, and a lot of boos. Now, we're not going to sit here and waste a lot of time. I don't think we should be booing a first half of the first pre-season game after this big sort of revolution that's happening. There's no need for that. No, pay your money, do what you want, cheer, boo, whatever. But I just think it's silly. And it's, I mean, booing at halftime of the first pre-season game, if you're fans think that we have a say in the team, which I don't think we do, and I don't think we should, but what you're trying to accomplish, you're trying to get the team, the players, the management, the upper management, the board and all this, you're trying to get them to change something because you booed at halftime of the first pre-season game. Just doesn't make any sense. But that was sort of was the deal at halftime. Obviously, big changes to start the second half. Tav came on, Big Jack came on, Diomande came on, Bajrami came on, sort of the usual suspects for last year that we've seen. And look, that's a welcomed thing in pre-season. You're going to see wholesale changes like that. I think if we were ahead 2-0, we would have seen the same changes. So nothing really going on there. Findlay Curtis after the game said that the manager did rip into them a wee bit at half-time. Expectedly so. If he wasn't seeing what he wanted to see in the first half of the first pre-season game, he's going to let the lads know. Fair enough. But big defensive change in the second half. The structure of the defence was completely different. The tempo was very different, and it was a lot more sort of interesting to watch. Obviously, more entertaining to watch. The defensive transitions were vital in sort of stabilising the second half performance, right? I mean, far and away, we obviously scored 2 goals in the second half, but just played much better. I think we won the second half in every aspect of the game, every trackable sort of measure. Rangers did far better in the second half, and I think it was these defensive transitions that really sort of stabilised that and allowed that to happen. And we'll not talk too much about the tactics because some people get bored of the tactics. This at the minute is more just sort of reaction. Diomande comes in and it's just a few minutes into the second half. He gets Bruges is sort of sloppy with play, and he gets the ball and fantastic finish. Very, very clinical, low finish, great goal. That was just fantastic. We obviously in the second half dominated possession, which is what you expect for a Russell Martin team. Pressed really well. I thought that it was night and day difference. Not perfect in the second half when it came to the press, but it was definitely much better than the first half, and it led to a lot of transition for us and chances created, which was great. I thought Fernandez in the second half was just fantastic. He is massive and makes a big difference in the duels, the defensive duels, and getting his massive cranium on that ball. I think that was lacking last year. We never really had anybody, including, Big John and Balogun and that. That was not as dominant as this lad. So between him, Big John, if this Giga comes for Wolves, which we're not going to speculate on. There's a lot of talk of that, but whether it's him or somebody else, I think we're obviously in the market for another centre back. I mean, I think Tav might end up playing there when Tav came inside in the second half. That's what we had talked about, where he'd be gone. If you go back and you watch the Max Aarons video for last week, it's that question of where's Tav going to play. And I think it's clear he's no going to be able to play wide on the right with this sort of defensive press that's going on. He's no got that in his tank anymore to do that, and he's just not got the pace to get up and back and to be that aggressive on the press. And Martin, I don't think, will put up with a player who just sort of dies on the defensive end when the ball's given away, leading to some big swinging defensive rotation to cover for that. I just don't think he's going to tolerate that, whether it's Tav or no. So him playing a wee bit more inside was interesting to watch, because we've been talking about that. But that was great to see as well. Findlay Curtis, obviously, his finish was great, and he was that excited after the game. The wee lad, I had said last year he's got potential. It's really difficult, obviously, for somebody at Rangers to come all the way through the academy and play at the first team consistently and become a first team regular. I think he's got potential, and he's not there yet, obviously, but that was great for him. And first goal at Ibrox, even pre-season or no, big for him, and he was well chuffed, and he should be. But another thing that was great was the build-up to Bajrami. When Bajrami came in, he was like a different player for last year now. He got a lot of stick last year, and I stuck by him because I think he was played out of position a wee bit. He was asked to do this on a Saturday, this on a Wednesday, this on a Thursday. I mean, he was playing different roles every week, or every time he come on, he had a different job in the squad, and that's fine. I mean, if you've got a player that can manage that, I think that's great. I think he just sort of struggled with that role of being this utility man that can just come in and play anywhere. Some players, it's just no practical for that to be their role in a squad, and I think he sort of, while he stepped up and he always was sort of there, and I think he worked hard and all of that, I think it's no him. It's no his style as a footballer. But when he was attacking and just running right up the middle with the ball, you could see. I mean, he was a different player, and I know there's been a lot of reaction on other pages and on the Facebook groups and that about Bajrami. And look, it was his first year at Rangers last year. It's obviously difficult for a lot of players. The adjustment can be difficult, and maybe that was it. I mean, he's played in Italy. He's got that technical level. A lot of yous, you've got to admit it, a lot of yous have written him off. But I'm just saying, watch for him, because if Martin sees something in him and can get him into the correct role, I think there's definitely a player there. And he was fantastic today. Another one that I thought played really well was Oscar Cortez. Obviously, last 2 seasons it's been disastrous with the injuries. I remember sort of early in the first season he was electric, and he was playing primarily far out on the wing, and he was sort of getting his boots chalky on the touchline, and he just sort of seemed very raw and not really sure where to put the ball once he's taken somebody on or once he's moved into space. But he's young, he was 19 or something. I think he's only 20 or 21 at the minute, so he looked good today, and he played a lot, and he was involved a lot, and he works his wee backside off. So I think he's another one that a lot of people are chasing him out the door. I think Martin might see that ability and might want to take a look and see if he can get the juice out of that grape, because I think there's a player there as well. I've said that he's just young and raw and needs some development. So yeah, that was interesting to see. Diomande, we talked about the goal, but he was a spark, instantly a spark. But we know he's got quality for a young player, and he showed that again coming in the second half. He was Findlay Curtis as well. Again, we're not just talking about him because of the goal. I think he was calm in that game, and I think the goal was obviously fantastic. But he's another one. We need to keep an eye on him, and Max Aarons was sort of nothing spectacular, decent performance. We'll see. We'll see what the next one brings. He's obviously an incredibly talented player. Fernandez, bit dodgy at first, but settled in and took charge, and I think he's going to do great in the team. I mean, the big thing is that we did not want to see was the bad start, because it reminds us of that bad taste for last year, where lack of energy, lack of cohesion, lack of execution of a game plan. I mean, you've just come out the dressing room, you've had a few days, you've been working up to the game, and you come out the dressing room flat like that. It's not acceptable. Rangers or any team, it's just not acceptable. I mean, all the prep stuff till you walk out and hit the pitch, that's what you can control. So have a good start with that preparation. Don't waste all that time that you've put into the preparation. So I think that was just a wee bit of a case of it being pre-season, the boys being overworked. The managers said that the boys are working really hard, and then also just learning the tactics and trying to make it work and all that. But it left a bad taste with that lack of energy leading to the goals and some of the sloppy play and all that. I'd be worried if we see it in the next few games going forward, if we still continue to see that. But there's going to be growing pains with a new tactical scheme and all that, so I'm not too worried at all. The high pressing type philosophy stuff, we saw a wee bit of it in the second half, which was great. I mean, it's not a game of FIFA. It's not like you can just change your formation, change your tactics, and you're going to be able to see that, right? There is that growing pains. We've mentioned it. So that was it. I mean, the good thing was that, again, it's pre-season, but you can say Martin made the right subs at the right time. I think that was situational for it, though. I mean, it wasn't like he made 60, 70-minute subs. It was all at half-time, so it fit with the pre-season scheme. But he was able to make the right subs, get the team back in it. Obviously, we've heard he delivered a wee bit of a go at them at half-time, which, fantastic. And the youth did well. The young guys did well, including the first-team young guys, like your Diomande and all that. So, I mean, it was positive. Look, positive, resilient response under the manager to come back 2 goals down in a pre-season game. Weather not too good. Easy to just mail in that second half and chalk it up to just, hey, we're just here to get fitness, but got something back out of the game. The substitutions were great, obviously. The youngsters stepping up was great. These are all positive things. The games have to start sharper. We've mentioned it. Got to start sharper. The looseness in the transitions, especially on the defensive rotations, though. I mean, I'm a big sort of tactician. I really get into tactics. And if you want to see more of that, we can talk more of that. But I really get into tactics, and I think that it's just got to be tighter. It's just far too loose, and obviously you're going to get punished. Yeah, and we've seen it last year. I mean, every time I talk about this, I remember that Dundee game where Dundee was just carving up Rangers because of the slow defensive transitions. And so any team in Scotland can make a mess of you if you're no on point and you're no tight with that stuff. And again, we know for Russell Martin that he likes aggressiveness constantly, 90 minutes aggressiveness, and we did not see that when the game kicked off. The fitness will come. It's pre-season. The pre-season designed to bring fitness, and that's what's happening. The tactical discipline will also come once the tactics have been fully learned and all that sort of stuff. So, not too worried there. And look, obviously they're going down to England for the training camp. Talk of 1 or 2 behind closed doors sort of kickabouts there, which will bring some of those needs, will bring some of that in ahead of the Champions League qualifier on the 22nd of July, which I'll be very excited to see. But look, no bad. It could have it could have been a lot worse. It was great to see the manager get involved and put his influence in there for the second half and be able to turn things around. I mean, there was a lot of talk with Big Phil that a lot of adjustments weren't really made, and it was just hitting the nail with the same hammer until it worked. You know, it was just good to see Martin make some changes there. Look, I think people are chasing players out the door after seeing that performance. You know, when it comes to strikers, I'm actually happy with what the manager said after the match, that it looks like Dessers is staying, because Dessers is he's a fantastic player for Rangers. He's just a really good Rangers player. I mean, I'll make another video and another video and another video about Dessers. I really like him as a player. I like him as a man as well, and I like him as a Rangers man. I think he gets it. I think he works his backside off, and we see him working his backside off even when the situation's no ideal for him. With the service he was getting last year and some of the way we were playing last year, he never off the pedal, and I think him coming back would be good. It was sort of clear to see the day that Danilo cannot be that. He cannot run the line himself. I like Danilo. I think he's talented, but he's just not been able to assert himself. And we need a striker that's going to score goals. We need a striker that can be the Golden Boot winner in this league. I think we've got one of those actually. And I mean, it looks like Igamani's away. We'll see. It looks like it's sort of into the international paperwork that needs to get done before that's all sort of just done and dusted. So we're going to need another striker coming in, obviously. I think Dessers, as it is, can definitely lead the line, obviously. But we're going to need some more help if Igamani goes. And Danilo, obviously, just doesn't seem like he's got it. I wish he did, because I like his talent. I like how he plays in the air. I think he's a good, talented young player, but he's just not been able to make it happen. And you've got to make it happen at that position for this club and this league and all that sort of stuff that we all know. So we'll see what happens. Positive, absolutely positive. I mean, even a lot of the negative things that I could say about this game were addressed in the second half. So, I mean, I'm not pulling my hair out. Not pulling my hair out. Fine. On to the next one. We'll see how the training camp goes. I think they'll really get to build there, because they'll be, 24/7 with each other, learning, applying the tactics, talking, mingling, eating together, living together. I think these training camps are good, and I think I think this week will be a good week. I think there'll be probably a couple of more signings announced, and there'll probably be a few departures, which are probably needed at this point. Everybody's talking about their asking Connor Barron thing with the captaincy. Come on, that's just noise. Sometimes our fans sound like a gaggle of women just cackling about silly, stupid things that don't really matter. Look, Martin will pick his captain, and that'll be that. And he'll have his reasons, and his reasons will be better than what your reasons are, because he's the manager of the club. And if you were better than him, you'd be the manager of the club. But you're not. So we'll see what happens. I'm happy. I'm thinking another couple of signings this week. Probably a defender, probably a forward. Let's see, right? The Butland Kelly thing, see what happens there. If there's an open competition that's completely open, I think that'll get dealt with internally. Kelly spilling that ball, kicking it back directly in front of him. Not too worried. It's pre-season. Kelly's a good keeper. I think we'll be fine. He sort of maybe misjudged it. I think he actually could have caught that ball. He could have just saved it and fell on the ball, but I think he just sort of misjudged it as far as the angle of the shot coming in, and ended up booting it a bit. So, and the second goal was just a worldy sort of finish. I mean, bad clearance, obviously. We've talked about the defensive issues. Bad clearance and then just amazing finish. But good. Let me know your thoughts. Put wee comments in there, like and subscribe to this. We're trying to get some traction. You're like, Mark, how are you trying to get traction when you've not made a video in a couple of days? I told you it's the holiday here, so give me a break. I was at the pool and drinking beer and with my family and that. But let me know, like, subscribe, share this, and thanks for the comments that you have sent and all that. It's sort of cool being able to just throw this banter and put my thoughts on what's happening with your club out there for people to interact with. So we'll keep doing it. That's it. I've rambled on enough. Onward to the next one. We'll talk to you later. Thank you. Bye bye.